Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Chakwadash. Double unto the elder apostles of the great millstone who were well, and as always, peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. And I want to do a response, to this video in which you had Mike Adams, the owner of Natural News. He was giving his input on what's happening with the petrodollar and what Vladimir Putin just strategically did economically. And a lot of people don't know what's going on because they're distracted with bullshit and entertainment, you know. And you really won't see these things coming. All right, and the elite's doing a fantastic job at keeping the masses mind on bullshit. But the scriptures tell us, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And we watch it for what? We watch it for the prophecies. The prophecies are definitely taken off. All right. The vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. All right. And we're watching for it. So what I want to do is I want to play a little snippet of this video in which he uses a cold analogy dealing with the dollar, the petrodollar. And he compares this road in Pennsylvania where you just had a multi pileup, all right, of vehicles crashing in the midst of a snowstorm. It was very foggy, and there was snow everywhere, so you can hardly see. And there was a lot of collisions going on. A lot of cars that couldn't see afar, they just kept driving, and they were smacking into cars that were already crashed. And you had a few people that were stuck on the road, and they noticed that more cars kept coming and smacking into the diesels. So they finally, got the memo to get the hell out of the street, get off the road, and run down to the trees to be safe. And he was using that as an analogy to the U.S. dollar. If you still holding on to the petrodollar, you still put your trust in it. You basically like a person that's still in the middle of the road while these cars are, smacking into each other. You in for a ruin. So I thought it was a cold analogy, that he was using. Basically, the road is basically like the printing, like a printing. I forgot how he worded it, but when you think about all the printing that the Fed does, those cars coming by and by and by is like them printing, and pretty soon it's gonna run right into a great crash, and you can definitely see that with all this spending, all this money printing. Here it is, America is starting to starve. A lot of people are going broke. Inflation is going up, and this devil is generating billions of dollars to just give away to all these different initiatives that have nothing to do with the average American person. So he's helping with the demise of the petro. So anyway, while your dumb president is making these dumb moves, basically shooting itself in the foot. Mastermind Putin, the chess player, he's making strategic moves economically. And then if you look currently, there's reports coming out saying how the ruble, the Russian ruble, it just hit a 1 month high since uh, over a month ago when they was getting slapped with all those sanctions. But now it's hit a 1 month high against the dollar because we know the Russian market was It was temporarily suspended by all these sweeping Western sanctions. So now the markets are starting to you know start to regain ground. So something's getting ready to happen, man. This is not a good look for the West right now. So let's listen to this video, and then we're gonna definitely hit some scriptures.
Sense. So let's talk metaphors here. That highway is the money printing highway. The money printing machine is the engine that's pushing vehicles down that highway at an incredible speed. It's the money printer. Now then, the snow and the fog, the lack of visibility, that's the supply chain collapse and the economic sanctions against Russia causing the deplatforming of Russia and kind of severing many elements of the global supply chain. So now there's fog where you can't see what's coming. And then the impacts, the kaboom, that's going to be empty shelves, no food, lack of fertilizer, starvation, economic collapse from rising fuel prices, things like that. So it's all coming. And that.
Real quick, let me get the scripture. Proverbs 22 and verse 3. And this is why these people that's not paying attention, it's going to hit them like a thief in the night. Because they're not paying attention. They're not watching. This is Proverbs 22 verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And how could you have the foresight of anything coming when your view is obstructed with bullshit? When your view is obstructed, you can't see what's in the way. You can't see what's coming because there's something blocking your view. So you don't know when to turn or when to, get out of dodge. So people continuing on in their pleasures and being careless and now realizing what's getting ready to come upon them, they're going to be punished. At least we won't be startled. And plus, we have this wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of thy salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. See? And let me get another one. I believe it's another one in Proverbs 14. Actually, hold on. Let me see real quick. Let me go back to Proverbs. I know there's another precept to it. Okay, so yeah. Proverbs 14:16, it says, a wise man feareth and departed from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Meaning what? Because you fear the Most High, you're gonna be cautious, you're gonna be circumspect, you're gonna be trying to do everything in your power to be on the good graces of the Most High. You're gonna be trying to store up that spiritual treasure in heaven. You're gonna try to, ponder the path of your feet and not look to the left or to the right, but look, straight on. You're not gonna succumb to distractions, the cares of this life. It says, but the fool rageth and is confident. These scoffers and scorners that think that, when we do these kind of videos, we just you know, it's just alarmism. You know, we're fear mongering. We saying the same thing over and over. When is it going to happen? You know the scoffers. There shall be scoffers in the last days, walking after their own lusts, with their heads stuck in the sand, suffering from normalcy bias. But we gonna see. But we know what's getting ready to happen, man, and we've been warning for years now. All right, and this dollar's going to come to an end. Everything else is just, and it's a snowball effect. All right, the domino falls, it's going to knock down the next domino, and then the next domino, and then the next domino. All right, and that's it. And he mentioned all those things. The food supply chain, people finna get desperate. It's gonna not be safe out in the streets. They're gonna really crush this whole society and put pressure to you until you bow down to your knees and call for their new world order. They're gonna force you into a solution that they already came up with. That's what they're trying to do. That's this devil coming down with great wrath because he know that he had but a short time. So let's listen to a little more of this, and then I will get a couple more precepts and close out. You know, this probably ain't gonna be a long video, but I like the analogy that he used. All right, if y'all didn't see, you know, the footage of what just occurred the other day over in Pennsylvania, where you had that collision. All right, multiple vehicles piling up on the road because it was too foggy and it was snow everywhere. You could barely see. Well, he compared that with the monetary system, how the Fed just continuously print all this extra money, the money printing highway. Eventually, things are gonna start crashing. So let's continue.
That video just gives us a really, I think, instructive metaphor. And it shows us that humanity does not, well, human beings aren't really good at anticipation. They're really not. So if you look at two people playing chess, the typical chess player who's not very experienced or not very bright is looking at the current position and thinking about their one move. And that's it. Their one move. What one move puts me in the best possible position? And they don't anticipate what the opponent may do with their move. And then they certainly don't anticipate your move as a reaction to that, and then the opponent's second move, and then your third move, and then their third move, and so on. Only the chess grandmasters are able to anticipate, 5-6 moves ahead, and that does take some genius level of intelligence to get that far ahead.
Yeah, and the Lord is actually ultimately, using Putin. Right, he's putting it into the minds of the kings, man, to prepare themselves. Because the Lord is putting hooks into the jaws of the bear, Gog and Magog. So the Lord is making sure that they're 5-6 steps ahead of Babylon. Because the Lord's going to use them instrumentally in this war to actually take down Babylon the Great. All right. Hey, let me get Proverbs 21. Because the Lord rules in the kingdom of men. The Lord gave that devil, that Russian devil, wit, man. He gave him that kind of wisdom. All right. Because, the Soviet Union, it fell hard, man. But now all of a sudden, look how much they've risen into power since the Cold War. That was the Lord's doing. The Lord can put you down for a minute and raise you up. Proverbs 12:1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. because the Lord he governs the world. All things obey His will. So He's the one that works on the minds of these rulers. And it just so happened that it seemed as if Putin, even though we know he's, you know, he's in on the New World Order too, but he's being used right now as an opposition to it. Like as if he's in the way of the new global order. And that's what Biden, he's super pressed about Putin. He over there in Warsaw, Poland, talking all kind of shit. We must take Putin out of power, you know? So we gonna see what you finna do, Biden. Because right now, economically, you're you're making things worse for yourself, and more nations gotta suffer because of what you're doing, having your hands in Ukraine, and that's causing more and more these nations that gotta suffer to despise you. You becoming despised among the heathen. That's Obadiah. Was that 1 and 2 or 3? So anyway, let's finish this off and then we'll close out.
The typical people don't even think 1 or 2 moves ahead. And that's why, you're probably the kind of person, if you listen to this, you're the kind of person who thinks ahead. You think many moves ahead. We all do in the independent media. And to us, we think that's totally normal. And that's why we can't figure out sometimes why the oblivious masses are so oblivious. Like, how could you not see that coming? I mean, we've been printing money since 1971. How could you not see the dollar collapse? But there would be people who are standing out in the middle of the highway in the middle of a blizzard with 100,000-pound trucks screaming by. They will go, oh, the dollar's stable. The government said so. Like, dude, you're about to get wiped out. You should maybe move off the money printing highway. And so if you're moving off the money printing highway, what are you doing? If you run to the trees on the side of the road, what is that? You're moving into gold or silver, or you're moving into crypto,
And that's exactly what you see some of these other nations are doing, like especially the BRICS nations. All right, they realize that the U.S. dollar ain't even worth the paper that it's printed on. It ain't even worth the ink. All right. So these currencies that they're using actually have precious metals in reserves to back it, to give it a worth. The Russian ruble actually has gold reserves backing it. You know, like they really have. Like I read somewhere in an article where they said that Russia has by far the largest untapped gold reserves, at least 12,500 tons. All right, and the world's second largest platinum reserve. So they got plenty of natural resources that holds value. So if they see that, if these other nations see that, and they want to do business and trade, then hey, what you think they're gonna eventually do? Especially seeing the American dollar is losing its dominance. More and more nations are gonna become more confident that they don't need to use the dollar because it ain't worth nothing anyway. And the more and more that trend increases, you can bet your best bet, man. The dollar is adios, and that's when it's gonna get real interesting. All right. So yeah, he's making strategic moves right now. All right, giving them the deadline. Like, hey, fuck the dollar. All right, by Friday, by March 31st, if you're not using the Russian ruble to purchase a supply of Russian gas and energy, you ain't getting a supply gas and energy. So it's for the turn up. All right. So let's real quick. Let's get Ecclesiastes. No, not Ecclesiastes. Let's get we'll get Ephesians 5:15. It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." All right. So be alert. Constantly watch. See what's going on. Because we know that we're coming into the days of evil. It's gonna get pretty raw. We coming into that time of trouble, man. We're in the beginning of sorrows. And the sorrows are gonna definitely increase with these type of moves being made. Because now your dollar is getting weaker and weaker by the day. So you're gonna realize why some of the food products in the markets in the grocery stores are shrinking, and the prices are actually getting more and more expensive. So you're paying way more for a smaller quantity of items, products, goods, food. Then you realize you're gonna have to work even more, and the inflation, the wages that people are making is not catching up with the inflation. So it's gonna happen, man. And before you know it, Second Ezra 15, the seditions, the uproars, all right, people moving into to your cities and robbing you for your goods. It says they shall be spoiling your goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. We're gonna see this. Let's go to Thessalonians 5. First Thessalonians 5:1, it says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You're gonna be dealing with plague after plague after plague, and I mean, we're in the midst of plagues uh, 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 happening, but it's gonna continue and it's gonna worsen. It says, "But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." All right. And let us not be distracted by the bullshit, the entertainment, the bread and circuses. Those people, they're asleep. How long they gonna keep talking about Will and Jada? How long? I give them 2 weeks. But the more that come out from that story, because this devil has the power on the left hand side, to keep things going, through their media and using these agenda puppets, these entertainers. All the people gonna talk about is that shit. Meanwhile, they're not looking at how scant their currency is becoming. It's just slowly dying off in your pockets. Your food supply is getting shorter. We're closer to on the brink of war. See, so I just want to touch on that, and this is pretty interesting, and if brothers want to check it out, I'll leave a link to this in the description box. So anyway, I just want to do that, Lord willing. This was edifying. We give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.
Повторю, серьезный удар нанесен по всей глобальной экономике и торговле, по доверию и к американскому доллару как основной резервной валюте. Так нелегитимные действия по заморозке части валютных резервов Банка России подводят черту под надежностью так называемых первоклассных активов. По факту и США, и ЕС объявили на самый настоящий дефолт по своим обязательствам перед Россией. Теперь каждый знает, что финансовые резервы могут быть попросту украдены. И видя это, многие страны уже в ближайшее время могут начать, уверен, так и будет происходить, конвертировать свои бумажные и цифровые накопления в настоящие резервы в виде сырьевых товаров, земли, продовольствия, золота, других реальных